Hello, welcome to the course SJPHY2B02 Mechanics 2. The contents of this course is taken from An Introduction to Mechanics by Kleppner and Kolenko. We will continue to discuss topics from Module 3, Harmonic Oscillator. In the previous two classes, we discussed about a simple harmonic oscillator where we have seen that once the motion is set up, the oscillations will take place till infinity. And if you look at this graph here, the black mass spring system corresponds to a simple harmonic oscillator. And if you look at the solution indicated by the black curve here, this is a sinusoidal solution where you can see that the oscillation extend all the way to infinity and the amplitude of the oscillation is constant throughout. But if you take any practical oscillators like a simple pendulum or a mass spring system, we know that once you set at the motion, the oscillation do not take place till eternity. After some time, the oscillation die down. And what's the reason? Because in almost all cases, oscillation takes place in a viscous medium. For example, in the case of a simple pendulum, oscillation takes place in air. Air is a viscous medium. So there is a frictional force acting on the system in addition to the usual restoring force. And we know that friction is something which always acts against the motion. So you have a resistive force which dampens the motion. So consequently, such a harmonic oscillator is known as a damped harmonic oscillator. And as we know, a force like a friction is a dissipative force. So what happens to the energy? In the case of a simple harmonic oscillator, we have seen that the total energy is conserved. It is constant. But here, due to energy dissipation, the system continuously loses energy. So consequently, after some time, the amplitude of the oscillation gradually decreases and eventually the oscillation ceases. So that's what is indicated by the blue curve here. So originally, if you compare the harmonic oscillator and the damped harmonic oscillator, both have the same amplitude, but you can see as the time progresses, the amplitude decreases and finally it becomes zero. So the general form of the frictional force you can see in this equation here. Just like the restoring force is proportional to displacement, here the force is proportional to velocity. Since it is against the motion, you have a minus sign here, and the proportionality can be replaced by a constant b, which depends on the shape of the mass and medium through which it moves. So frictional force F is given by minus b. So if you take an oscillator like a mass spring system, the total force acting on the system now is the spring force or the restoring force minus kx plus the frictional force minus bv. If you write on the equation of motion, mx double dot equal to minus kx plus bx dot, you take the entire term into the left hand side. So you have mx double dot plus bx dot plus kx equal to 0. Divide the entire equation with m. You have x double dot plus b by mx dot plus k by mx equal to 0. Now you can make a couple of substitutions. We know that k by m is nothing but omega naught square, where omega naught is the natural frequency of the harmonic oscillator, or in this context you can call it as the undamped frequency. And b by m is gamma, which is the damping constant. So this is the parameter which characterizes the damping happening in the system. So now you can rewrite the equation of motion as x double dot plus gamma x dot plus omega naught square x equal to 0. So this is the equation of motion of a damped harmonic oscillator. In the previous classes, we have discussed in detail how to solve this differential equation. First, you have to write the auxiliary equation, then you have to find the roots. Okay, so the roots are going to be minus gamma plus or minus gamma square minus 4 omega naught square by 2. You can write it as minus gamma by 2 plus or minus take 2 inside the square root. So this is gamma square by 4 minus omega naught square. So the most general solution is going to be x of t equal to some constant a into e to the power minus gamma by 2 plus square root of gamma square by 4 minus omega naught square t plus b into e to the power minus gamma by 2 minus square root of gamma square by 4 minus omega naught square. A and b are some constant. You can find their values using appropriate boundary conditions or initial conditions. Now you have three scenarios here. So first one, gamma square by 4 greater than omega naught square. Second, gamma square by 4 equal to omega naught square. Third, gamma square by 4 less than omega naught square. Let's first talk about the case gamma square by 4 greater than omega naught square. As I said, gamma is the parameter which characterizes damping in the system, and omega naught is the frequency of the undamped oscillation. Okay, so gamma corresponds to damping and omega naught corresponds to no damping. Okay, so obviously here what this equation means, where damping is more compared to the normal behavior. So consequently, this case is also known as overdamped condition. And if you look at the term inside the square root, gamma square by 4 minus omega naught square, since we have squares here, these two terms are positive. So square root of gamma square by 4 minus omega naught square, obviously this is going to be less than gamma by 2. So now if you look at the exponential term, so this term inside the square root is less than gamma by 2. So if you look at the exponents, minus gamma by 2 plus this term, so this is going to be a negative term, and here you have minus gamma by 2 minus the factor, which is obviously negative. So both the exponents are negatively. So in other words, you have an exponentially decreasing function as the solution. So in the case of overdamped condition, the displacement x of t decays exponentially to 0 without any oscillation, as indicated by the blue curve here. Without any oscillation, it decays to the equilibrium position. So since there is no periodic oscillations happening in the system, this motion is also known as aperiodic or deadbeat. The second case, gamma square by 4 equal to omega naught square, this is also known as critically damped condition. So if you look at the roots, the roots of the quadratic equation, you can see that the term inside the square root vanishes. So instead of two distinct roots, you have a single root minus gamma by 2. And the general form of the solution we have discussed in the previous class, x of t equal to a plus bt into e to the power minus gamma by 2t. So there is a small correction here. In the previous class, when I wrote the general form of the solution, I wrote it as a plus bx. That is not correct because x is a function of t, so it has to be a plus bt. Please make the correction in your lecture notes. Okay. So as you can see in this solution, there are two terms. One is a linear term, a plus bt, which increases with time. And second one is an exponential term, e to the power minus gamma by 2t. Since this is a negative exponent, as time increases, this is going to decrease. Right? So you have a contrasting behavior here. So the overall behavior of the solution depends on the interplay between these two terms. So usually what happens is, as time elapses, the exponential term dominates over the linear term. Consequently, x of t decays exponentially to 0 without any oscillation, just like the overdamped case. So this motion is also aperiodic in nature. So the green curve here represents the critically damped condition. So even though critically damped and overdamped conditions are similar in nature qualitatively, but if you look at the rate of decay, in the case of critical damping, the system comes to the equilibrium position much more rapidly compared to the overdamped condition. And final condition, gamma square by 4 less than omega naught square. So here damping is less compared to the normal behavior. So this is also known as underdamped condition. So if you look at the general solution, now since gamma square by 4 is less than omega naught square, the term inside the square root is going to yield an imaginary number, right? So the solution is going to be minus gamma by 2 plus or minus I square root of omega naught square minus gamma square by 4, where I is square root of minus 1. Now the term inside the bracket, square root of omega naught square minus gamma square by 4, I call it as omega 1, where omega 1 is the frequency of the damped harmonic oscillator, which is also known as the damped frequency. So omega naught is the undamped frequency, omega 1 is the damped frequency. So in terms of damped frequency, I can rewrite the roots as m equal to minus gamma by 2 plus or minus I omega 1. So we have discussed this case in the previous class. You can write it as alpha plus or minus I beta. Then the general solution is going to be x of t equal to e to the power alpha t into b cos beta t plus c sin beta t. So same way you can write the general solution now. Instead of alpha you have minus gamma by 2. Instead of beta you have omega 1. So the general solution is going to be x of t equal to e to the power minus gamma by 2t b cos omega 1t plus c sin omega 1t. As we have seen in the case of harmonic oscillator, instead of writing it as two separate harmonic terms, you can write it as a single term, a e to the power minus gamma by 2t cos omega 1t plus phi, where phi is the phase factor given by tan inverse minus b by c. Now if you plot this function, so this is what you are going to get. In the case of a harmonic oscillator, you have a constant amplitude as indicated by the black curve here. But in this case, you can see that the amplitude is no more a constant, right? Because amplitude is multiplied by an exponentially decreasing factor. So amplitude itself is a function of time. So you can write it as a of t equal to a e to the power minus gamma by 2t. Now if you plot this function alone, this is given by this dotted line. So this is an exponentially decreasing amplitude. So consequently, if you look at the oscillation, you have oscillation in the system, but the amplitude of the oscillation exponentially decreases. So the general solution x of t can be written as a of t cos omega 1t plus phi. Now if you compare the underdamped case with undamped case or the simple harmonic oscillator case, both are almost similar because in both cases you have oscillations happening in the system. But the two major differences are, in the case of a harmonic oscillator or an undamped condition, the amplitude was constant, but here amplitude decreases exponentially in time. And if you compare the frequencies of damped oscillation, omega 1 is less than the frequency of undamped oscillation, omega 0, which is clear from the very definition, right? Omega 1 is less than omega 0. You can also characterize damping using the factor gamma by omega 1. So as I said, gamma is a parameter which characterizes damping. Omega 1 is the frequency of oscillation. So omega 1 characterizes oscillation. So if gamma by omega 1 is very small compared to 1, so which means damping is very less in the system. So if you look at the solution, A of t decreases very little, and the cosine term is going to make many oscillation before the function dies down to 0. So you can this is the condition described by gamma by omega 1 much smaller than 1. So you can see that even though the amplitude decreases, the rate of decrease is very small. So you have a large number of oscillations taking place in the system. So this condition is known as lightly damped condition. On the other hand, if gamma by omega 1 is much larger than 1, so which means damping is more compared to the oscillatory behavior. So here A of t tends to 0 very rapidly, and the cosine makes only a few oscillations. So this is known as heavily damped condition. So if you look at the situation pictorially, you can see that the amplitude rapidly decays to 0. Consequently, you have a very few oscillations in the system. So in the case of lightly damped system, you have large number of oscillation, almost similar to a simple harmonic oscillator. Whereas in the case of a heavily damped system, you have very few oscillations taking place in your system. So in summary, damped harmonic oscillators have non-conservative forces that dissipate their energy. So the system continuously loses energy. Consequently, the amplitude of the oscillation decreases progressively. And critical damping returns the system to equilibrium as fast as possible, whereas an overdamped system moves more slowly towards equilibrium compared to a critically damped system. In the case of an underdamped system, it executes oscillation through the equilibrium position, but the amplitude of the oscillation is not a constant, it exponentially decreases, and also the frequency of the oscillation is less than that of an undamped system. So that's for today. In the next class, we will discuss about energies of an damped harmonic oscillator. Thank you.